Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first episode of Voicing Artists' Original Characters. Now, the way that this is going to work is quite simple. I have reached out to a couple of artists, some of them being close friends, some of them being new folks or folks that I worked with on projects, and they have provided me with drawings or animations or so be it so forth of their original characters. And we're going to essentially give them a voice today, regardless of what type the character is, whether they're a hero, a villain, whether they're a boy, a girl, whatever the case may be. We're going to put our lifeblood and our body into it and sort of represent them in the way that we think they would be in the universe. So, first and foremost here today, we have a lovely character named Butter. Her artist's name is Erica, or Okidenshi, as she goes online. Her pronouns are she, her. And this is a character from her senior thesis animation for school. So Butter represents an authentic expression of self. And she did give me a quote here that I'm going to read for y'all. As a person on the spectrum, I have often suppressed my unique ways of expressing who I am and what I like to appear normal and avoid bullying and the like. For me, Butter represents that true expression of self. I wanted to create a character experience that inspires others to move and emote in a way that feels natural to them. So that's a direct quote from Erica about her senior thesis animation and the character Butter here. You should check out that animation. It will be linked in the description below. It's a wonderful short piece of just this creation of hers living and expressing herself as like a natural human without judgment, and to a lovely little beat in the background that really encompasses it. And there's a lot of colors. There's like this bright sky baby blue, and I love the colors. The pink shirt, the green headphones. There's just so much positivity in these bright, solid colors. And in her animation as well, there's a bunch of other like yellows and things of that nature that put you in a really happy, positive energy. I think it encompasses the idea of excluding all of the negative and the bullying and the things that can happen, especially to people who are on the spectrum and feel like they can't communicate the way that they want to. It's a wonderful piece of just inclusivity, and you really should check it out because it's fantastic and it's a short watch, and go give Butter some love. Let's get on to what we're doing here today. Some of the images of Butter will flash on the screen as we go through this piece here. You'll get to see some wonderful sketches and some reference sheets that were made in figuring out the design and the way that Butter moves and dances and expresses herself. They're really cool to see. Enjoying those as we continue on here. What do I perceive from these drawings themselves? That is where we're going to run here. Now, some of these drawings in the future with other characters won't have backstories and they won't have character personality traits. Thankfully, with Butter, Erica is a good friend of mine, so she gave me that history that I read to you and a bit more about her personality and such. But if I were to say what I perceive from this drawing, there's a few things in particular that I would note. It's very fun. She would be very friendly, super positive. I was mentioning that with the colors. I also think she's full of energy and really passionate. Because if you notice in a lot of these sketches, right, she's got this huge smile on her face. And I love this smile because it just screams to me energy, happiness, and that she wants to spread that positivity to other people. Even one of these reference sheets is almost entirely like in the moment, hearing the music, big smiles on her face. There is a reference sheet for some other emotions. There's a little bit of an angry one, and there's a little bit of an angry in the video that Erica made, and there's some other emotions. I especially want to look at the two in the bottom right corner of one of the reference sheets here. They're almost like upset, but I wouldn't call these angry upset, right? These are almost nervous. Like she's a little anxious, she's a little shy, and I think this ties into the history of feeling like she couldn't express herself, like she wasn't allowed to move the way she moves or say the things she said because other people would think she's weird or crazy or make fun of her. And I think these two sketches here in the bottom right really express that emotion of, I wouldn't call it terror, but it's kind of scary to be put in that place where you feel like no one will ever really know you and you have to monitor everything you do. I think nervous, shy, socially awkward, hidden from others sometimes, also needs to factor into what we're doing here with that fun and positive energy. So, how are we going to give this character a voice? With Butter, we now want to create sort of dialogue, a neutral line of some sort for her to say so that we can give her a voice and give her this energy that she so desperately deserves. I'm thinking with all of our traits about her being energetic and fun and super friendly and her wanting to be herself, I think we would go something along the lines of, "I'm so excited that I can just finally be me." I really like that. It's sort of in a good pitch range. It's almost like you have to say it with a smile on your face, which I love for her. And I think it's a good idea of like she's comfortable, she's happy, goes with the big smile on her face and the dancing and the movement. So it's a good neutral line. I like that there. And I think she would say that if she's finally found a group of people that she feels like she doesn't need to hide herself with. Now, let's throw in all of the emotions. When we do auditions for voice acting or things that are similar, when we're working on voices for characters, we want to have a good neutral line that we can roll with. In this case, for Butter, it was, "I'm finally happy I can just be me," which is awesome. We've got her voice down, we've got her energy down. That's Butter. But what we want to do, and what they'll often have you do in auditions, is you'll have multiple takes. Sometimes they're different lines, sometimes they're different emotions, but we want to throw in the three, what I think are key emotions: a happy, an angry, and a sad. I think those are telltale ones that even the general audience can pick out, and if we can have dialogue for each one and sort of convey those emotions while still being Butter, we're in a good spot. Let's roll with the happy first, because it's the easiest, and I think because Butter is such a fun, friendly, positive person to begin with, happy will be easier for her because her neutral line of dialogue that we picked is already her in an excited and happy state. Let's go further with it and make her incredibly excited. Maybe she feels overwhelming love from the people that she's with, to the point where she wants to help other people be able to express themselves the way that she does in a positive and loving environment. I think if that were the case, and she's speaking with someone on how they're accepted in her friend group and they can act like themselves and they don't need to hide anymore, I think Butter might say something along the lines of, "We're happy to have you here. You're always welcome." Yeah, she's sort of bringing these people into her home and letting them know that it's okay. She had to learn for so long how to love herself, and now she wants to give that to other people. I like that. Let's go to angry next. I think angry's a good one to go second because it throws in a lot of passion, it throws in a lot of heightened emotions, gets the blood pumping, and I think it'll get us in a good place, especially with characters like Butter who have this positive, happy energy. I think angry can be something really difficult for them because they are the type of character that rather than be angry with someone or be upset with someone, they might get sad about themselves, right? So angry is going to be this difficult one for Butter. So what kind of scenario do we think Butter would be in where she gets genuinely angry? I think Butter would be most likely to be angry if someone else was getting bullied or getting picked on. I think Butter's the type of person, she gives me the vibes from these images and the energy that we've been giving her, that she would be very upset if one of her friends got hurt. I think less so if someone tried to bully her because she's been hiding for so long. I think she might be sad if someone tried to bully her. I think she'd be angry and want to stand up for her friends if they were getting bullied. So let's say that's the scenario and she wants to stand up for her friend who is just trying to express themselves and live their life, and someone is making negative commentary, being really mean to them. Let's say Butter's gonna step in here. That might be something like, "Stop it! I don't know why you're acting like that, but it's not okay to be mean to my friends." Yeah, it's like a bit of that nervous energy, but she's sort of fighting through the nerves of standing up to a mean person, to a bully. She's fighting through it, so you can hear the nerves, you can hear she's a little anxious, but she's confident enough that she's gonna put an end to this, and she's angry enough that she's like, "You are not gonna hurt my friends." I love that. It gives me very like anime protagonist vibes, almost like old school anime, which kind of fits with the way that Erica drew her as well in sort of the low poly style. It gives me very like friendship is everything vibes, and I love that for Butter. So last but not least, we want to do a sad for our third piece here. Sad for Butter, I think she would be genuinely sad if it was dealing with herself, right? We know this history of sometimes she feels like she's not allowed to be herself and that the way that she is wrong for some reason. And so I think that would make her genuinely sad. This may be before she was able to find a group of friends and a group of people who accept her. That scenario leads me to think for dialogue that sounds something like, "Everything I do is stupid. I'll never find a place in this world. I'll never have any friends." Ooh! Wow, that one hit. You know, the more intense we go with emotions, angry, sad, and things of that nature, I think it's good because it helps us give her personality, make her a whole character, but it can be heartbreaking sometimes. I just hate to think of Butter in that state, but you've also got to overcome those things in order to be in the place that she is, you know? So let's go back and recap all of these 3 lines that we've done. We've done a happy, an angry, and a sad. I think we've created a beautiful character for Butter, although Erica did that in and of herself. Again, go check out her links in the description below. But we've given some life to her, and I hope that it is a good representation of what Erica was thinking for her, and that we could bring some joy and some livelihood and some energy behind this lovely character. Piece number 2. This drawing is by a lovely artist, another friend of mine, named Brianna. Their username is Purpledanchencko. Pronouns are she, her. Now, this piece in particular is going to be fun to play with because I have absolutely no backstory, no history, not even personality traits or context. All I know is this is a beautiful sketch, a beautiful traditional drawing with what I believe is ink, possibly paint or pens, and it's otherworldly, it's a little creepy. I love creepy, punky, gothic style apocalyptic things, so this is right up my alley, and we're gonna get to play with it full through because we have no context. We're going to go straight into what do I read from this piece. Now, unlike the one before us as well that had context, the one before us also had other drawings. This one is a sole drawing. This is the only image we're working off of. In this image in particular, we're going to focus on the main individual. Now, I'm going to use she, her pronouns for this individual, possibly they. There's no gender attached to this, right? In fact, I would even say this person reminds me of those muscle mannequins that you would see in anatomy class. And that's wild. That's some scary vibes, but I'm also kind of down for it. So this person, with the look on their face and the way that they're sort of caressing this creature, this bird's beak, gives me almost like AI emotionless vibes. Like, they don't understand human feelings, they don't have them themselves, but they really want to learn about it. They really want to connect with nature and try and live and experience and learn about different emotions and nature and life in general that they don't have and they don't understand. Especially with the look on this person's face, it's very stoic, it's very calm. They're not smiling, so they're not necessarily like, "Oh, this is my beloved bird," but they're not angry, they don't seem upset, so they don't seem like they're against this creature, and that's sort of what gives me that almost emotionless state, but also a bit of curiosity and inquisitiveness, because they want to learn and they want to know how to experience and what to feel. I also am going to note on this creature, this bird gives me a crane or a shoebill or a stork, something of that energy. Obviously huge because it's much taller than this person, but sort of the build reminds me of those birds with the 2 little extra back wings, and also the color palette here with the black and sort of the deep red little white wingtips gives me maybe dark, spooky energy, and we of course have to mention the teeth on its spine. Gigantic teeth, like those are almost the side of her head, size teeth for this bird's spine, and then it sort of melds into what is just a skull, like straight bone, no flesh or anything like that, and solid white eyes. I love creepy things like this. This bird is like a dream come true, and while we won't be voicing the bird, I definitely want to use it when we create a scenario and a backstory here, because there has to be a reason that these two get along. I also think it informs us of our world in this piece. If I had to take a guess, I would say that this bird isn't necessarily an outcast. In my personal opinion, I think this speaks more to the fact that maybe we're in a dystopian or an apocalyptic universe, and they're trying to co-opt and coexist with nature and learn these things. Do other humans still exist? We don't know. But based on the way this bird has grown teeth on its spine, maybe not. So let's create a neutral line for this character. If we're going with calm, we're going for curious about human feelings and emotion, I think they would have a softer voice. Not low-pitched, not high-pitched, sort of a neutral, but just relatively soft. Because we as humans express a lot of emotion in the way that we speak, me in particular. But I want to sort of take that away as much as possible. So this might be kind of difficult, but we're going to go for that soft, almost monotone, but with a slight variation in it so that you can tell they're a little curious, but not quite there because they're kind of AI-ish. So let's see if we can get that voice going. I am afraid I do not understand. Perhaps one day I will learn what this love means. Yeah, it's a bit slower. It's a bit boop, 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 boop. Almost like a Morse code device where you can hear like the beeps. It's the same exact sound over, same exact speed, same exact pattern over and over and over, so that it's got sort of that robotic tone to it. But it goes up a little bit, it goes down a little bit in bits and pieces, specific words like love. It gives you sort of that, oh, okay, there's something there. I like that. And I like that as a neutral dialogue line as well, because they really want to know what these are, but they just don't understand, right? They're a little blunt with it, like AI tends to be. They're like, nope, don't get it, whatever, well, see if I can, because AI doesn't have that fronting that we do as people, where we put on a happy face and pretend to know what's going on. Let's do our emotion lines then. Remember, we have happy, angry, and sad, because you often get multiple dialogue lines with different emotions on them when you do auditions, and you want to use them to build up a character profile and make the character feel more whole. So let's go happy. What would make this character incredibly happy? Put a smile on that face, which, judging by this drawing, might be difficult to do. I think this character would be incredibly happy if they have finally experienced one of those emotions, one of those feelings that they've been craving to understand for their entire existence. I think one of the happiest emotions you can feel is love, like we used in our neutral line. So let's say that this character has formed this bond with this bird, and they finally sort of understand that, like, this is the beauty and the balance of caring for another creature and having that creature care for you. And let's throw that into our dialogue here. This is what it's like to be happy. I did not understand, but I think now, because of you, I have learned what it is to love. Awesome. I really love this soft choice that we've gone for her voice. You can still hear some of the roboticness, but I think the happiness and the excitement comes out in this beautiful, calm way when they're speaking with this bird and they're just like, you have taught me what it means to care for another being. I think that's really genuine, and it reminds us as we go forward, and with this piece in particular, that when we do an emotion, it doesn't have to be over the top. It doesn't have to be crazy excited and laughing. Maybe the character doesn't do that. And that's going to be especially important as we go into angry and we go into sad. Because I don't think this character would scream and yell when they're angry. I think they would be more of the type of angry you get from your teachers or your parents, where they're like quietly disappointed and they have sort of this very stern, little scary voice on them, but they're not yelling, they're not over the top, right? They're not being dramatic. They're just like very, very cold And I think if we take it all out and we go strict AI cold, we lower the voice a little bit, we'll get that energy. So let's try and do that for angry. You have ruined the course of nature. You are no longer permitted to walk free. Should I come across you again, I will end you. Ooh, okay, I love it. Almost screams like villain, right? I think in this case it would still be heroic. It would be some sort of creature or person that is hurting other animals or destroying the environment, and this character's like, don't even think about it. I will take you down. We're not playing that game. Characters that can do that cold, brutal anger like that without getting over the top, without getting yelly, it's scary, and I think it fits well for our little AI human here. So the last emotion is sad. I think this one is going to be difficult because sadness, we again think over the top. We think crying. We think being out of breath. All of these factors are normally how we get sad as people, right? Trying to hold back tears. I don't think this character would be that way. I think that their sadness, just like their anger, just like their happy, would be calmer. So I think their sadness would turn more into gloom, maybe a little despair, rather than crying. So let's take that gloom, that despair, and mesh it into dialogue here. I was created for the sole purpose of helping humanity rebuild. I once believed that that was not my only purpose in life, but now I do not believe I am capable of anything else. Yeah, I think that disparity through her voice, that complete loss of hope, is where her sadness would derive from. Awesome! So this has been a lovely play session with these unnamed characters. I can't wait to see what ideas people come up with these characters, and if Brianna ever gives us an update or backstory or history and we can go in and change it, that would be awesome! Maybe we'll revisit them. But for now, go check out her links in the description below. Okay, so that'll be it for today's episode. Please stay tuned because we got more of these on the way so that you can see artists' amazing original characters and that we can play around with some voices. See ya!